Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button, of course. We're going to talk about Juan Soto of the New York Yankees. Now, he's been bouncing around the last few years. I would think that sometime next year, he will be like a feather from Forrest Gump. He'll find a place to land somewhere over the next 10 years, 12 years, or whatever. But there was a tweet put out today, very early this morning. I totally forgot about it. And this is from ESPN's Barstow Only. Quote, tweet, X, post. Most interesting thing heard at Mets camp yesterday. And it's not surprising given that the Scherzer contract and others will melt off their payroll next winter. So they fully intend to take a run at Juan Soto next winter. Now this is interesting because, as you know, the Mets are going to have a lot of payroll coming off this year. Max Scherzer is going to come off. We keep our fingers crossed that Justin Verlander will come off. The Mets are on the have to pay him $17.5 million for next year if he hits 140 innings. Right now, it looks pretty good for the Mets, because he's not starting the season on time. He's got an issue with his shoulder. Any Met fan having worn a paper bag, Spaz Licata, I think he should sort of retract that bag. You embarrass me, a Mets fan. But with his money coming off, who knows what's going to happen with Pete Alonso. Keep our fingers crossed the Mets re-sign him. Juan Soto is going to be one of the bigger players we've ever seen get moved, or one of the biggest players that we've seen signed this side of Shohei Ohtani. He's probably going to be looking for something close to $500 million, if not over that. His agent, as you know, is Scott Boras, who he's not had a very good one. Here's the thing about Scott Boras. The agent always wins. The players tend to lose a lot of times, sometimes, but the agent always wins, and Scott Boras always wins, and he will win this too. Now, he's not had a very odd winter because a lot of his players have not signed. I would expect two players from that he has signed very quickly. So this craziness with Lucas Giolito having blown his elbow out. Terrible story. But he has Juan Soto, this is Scott Boras, as a player that he works for. Now, Juan Soto is like the modern day Ted Williams. He walks a lot, gets on base a lot, has big power, has won a batting title. He is and he's only 25, 26 years old. From what the rumor was last year, he was not happy in San Diego. We've heard for many years that a lot of players are West Coast guys. I feel, and I think a lot of people feel this way, that he's an East Coast guy, Juan Soto. There really isn't a lot that I could say in a negative way about Juan Soto. If he were to come here with the Mets, and the Mets would be very interested in signing him, according to this X post, the Mets would have a much better lineup, obviously, than they do now. Now, if they were to lose Pete Alonso, that's another consideration that you have to figure. They have to figure out who's going to play first next year. But be that as it may, I'm talking about Juan Soto in this video. He is one of the preeminent hitters in this game. He's one of the top 4 or 5 hitters in the game. He might be the most pure hitter in baseball. He probably has the best swing, the most beautiful swing for a left-handed hitter. It's probably a nicer swing than Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani has this sort of lift. But with Soto, he has that sort of, he's wide in the stand, he's wide in his, from inside the batter's box. It's a very wide stance. And he sort of sits there, and he's just got tremendous power. All fields. He knows he's, in a lot of ways, he's very much a modern day Barry Bonds as well. And he's only 26 years old. He has not gone into his prime yet. Now, probably in all likelihood in the future, he's probably 5, 6 years from now, he'll probably be a DH. But he is one of the preeminent players in this game. I have nothing negative to say about him. I mean, I don't think anybody does. I mean, the biggest thing is will the Yankees sign him before he hits free agency? No, because they didn't do that with Aaron Judge. The Yankees let their players go to free agency, and then they take a chance whether they will sign them. Now, the Yankees are going to be a very difficult monster to compete with, obviously, because they're the Yankees. But the Mets have green. Their money's just as green as their green. And it's just a matter of convincing him to come here. The Mets are going to be a younger team next year. They're going to probably have a very different starting staff next year. I would expect the Mets to bring in another starter next year, probably Corbin Burns. Obviously, Zach Wheeler haven't signed with I was very disappointed when I saw this, that Zach Wheeler re-signed with the Phillies on a long-term extension, but, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, that's not going to happen now. But Corbin Burns will be a guy to keep an eye on along the way, as well as Juan Soto and obviously Pete Alonso. But it was a great tweet to see early in the morning that even now people are talking about next year's free agency. Now, we have to get through this season. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of Mets team we have. Like I've said in other videos, I kind of think that the Mets are going to be sort of struggling early on. And I think by the time we get to late May, early June, some of these younger guys will come in here. I think they'll pick up the play. I think it'll be very different than last year. I think last year's June was a disaster. I think they'll have a better June. The first month of the season is going to be a little tough because they play the Dodgers and the Giants on a road trip in April. So it's gonna be rough. It's going to be a very rough beginning of this year. But anyway, keep jumping back and forth. But Juan Soto is a player that we all should want here. It's just a matter of money, and obviously he's going to go to free agency. He's going to have Mets on him. I don't think the Dodgers will be on him now. Maybe the Cubs, maybe the Blue Jays. I don't think the Dodgers will. I think the Dodgers made their big move. I don't see any room for Juan Soto with the Dodgers now. But I see the Mariners in on him, the Mets in on him, the Cubs, the Yankees, and I think maybe the Phillies. That's really about it. It's really about it. I don't see his market being very big, even though Scott Boras will probably try to have a big market for him. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, and of course, hit that subscribe button. This is the best Mets fans channel on YouTube that you can find. This is the best, folks, the best channel you could possibly have, and possibly could subscribe to. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.